Let's go. What's up, brother? Yo, good morning. Good day. What's up, everybody? Oh, baby. Day two of Dead Space. Dude, Dead Space is wild. The game is freaky, man, but I'm having a good time with it. It's pretty tough, man. It's pretty tough on that difficulty. But that's what we like, right? We like being able to rage out a little bit, get wrecked sometimes. It's fun. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So that's what we'll be getting into, yeah. After we do what we do, baby, which is video gaming news, right? So, as always, let's hop over here. Let's go ahead and get started with October 3rd's edition of video gaming news. All right, let's see what we can find. Wick, how are you, buddy? What's up, man? Good morning. Let me get that off of there for now. Um, Excellent, good, dude. How's everything going so far with the shops, man? I'm great, dude. I'm great. Yeah. Head feels better than it did yesterday, man. It's good stuff. Yeah. Didn't want to get out of bed this morning though. That's the tough thing for me, man, when the weather changes, you know? I want to just stay in bed, dude. Stay all cozy, you know? When the weather starts changing over and getting cold, or cooler, dude, I just want to stay in bed, you know? Yeah, again, if you're not familiar, if you haven't heard, you haven't seen in our previous news segments, Google Stadia is being shut down. Google has confirmed that in February of the coming year, Stadia will be finished, and they are reimbursing people that have bought into that platform. They are going to reimburse those people that have purchased that. So, Stadia is finished. A canceled Zelda game? Hmm. Did you know gaming takes a look at canceled Zelda game Heroes of Hyrule? Hmm. We'll take a quick peek at that. Sick, dude. That's got to be super exciting. I'm happy for you, man. Kind of a whole fresh start, yeah. mm. Cool, man. Cool. Nice. Yeah. We read yesterday about one of the um one of the actors for Horizon Zero Dawn had kind of put out a message on social media stating that they had done some work recently for one of the titles, which is making uh, people believe that there's either a DLC or like there's some stuff going on with the Horizon Zero Dawn series, but a remake. I don't know that we've necessarily heard anything about a remake. Uh, so let's take a look at that real quick. Hmm. All right, we'll take a quick peek at that. Looks like Epic Games has released demos of Solana, or demo of the Solana Game Star Atlas. Okay, take a quick peek at that too. Someone turned their old DVD drives into a freaking laser. Now all they need to do is strap it on top of a shark. You know what I mean? scary-ish games. Um, I mean, there's a slew of them out. I mean, what do you look? I mean, are you looking for? So you just finished Little Nightmares. Um, what do you want to? Are you wanting to play on PC or you wanting to play on Xbox? What are you wanting to play on? Does it matter? Are you looking for something more along the lines of like what Little Nightmares was, or are you looking for basically just anything Halloween? Not too involved. Okay. Have you played Inside? Have you played Inside this title? This like nothing that's like 100 hours. Yeah, I figured. This might be a nice one for you to try out right here, dude. I've got it in my library, which is why it's easy for me to. I should have just probably pulled it up on Steam and showed you, but this one right here. Cancel that. It's not what I wanted. It's kind of a. I don't even have a trailer in here. Let me pull it up on Steam real quick, dude. Inside might be one that would be up your alley, dude, to play. Very highly rated game as well. Um, Yo, gamer, what's up, buddy? This guy right here. Show much did it. There we go. This one should be better. Check this out, dude. This might be a nice little spooky-ish kind of vibe game for you. You know what you might also check out is oh, why am I having trouble remembering the name of that game? You absolutely should, gamer. Yeah, 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 yeah. Kind of loud. Sorry. That might be an option. Wick, inside, and they've got another game called Limbo as well. So they've got like a bundle where you can grab both of these if you wanted to get them on Steam. But they're both kind of like dark, little ominous 2D platformer kind of games. So if you want something that's not like super long playthrough, not super involved, those are some of the first ones that kind of came to mind there. Yeah, might check those out, dude. Yeah, see what you think. I'll try to think of some other ones for you too. Get back into the news, but I'll try to think of some other stuff for you. Yeah, 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 dude. Yeah, yeah. They've actually got, like I said, there's a bundle right there for both of those on Steam if you want. Yeah, for sure, buddy. Yep. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. Um. Okay. I mean, gamer, if you don't feel 100%, dude, it's probably better to rest up. You know what I mean? Or even if you just need a mental health day, dude. I don't know. Steam Deck's most popular game hasn't even fully released yet. Let's take a look at that. Near Automa's Switch release date is announced. Let's take a look at that. Warhammer 40k has released a new faction. This is just about the miniatures and stuff, so it's not actually about any of their video game stuff. So we'll hold off on that. Let's pivot real quick. Didn't sleep ruin? Yeah, dude. I mean, um, even if I've talked about this a lot before. I mean, there's a reason why in most jobs you accrue an amount of, you know, and dude, you hardly ever take any time off. If anything, you're usually working extras. So if you're having a day where you're not feeling 100%, I think it's appropriate to quite often for people to just try to take a day to rest up and try to kick whatever's going on and get back at it. That makes sense to me. We've already got something up about the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster happening, so we're going to take a look at that. Um, if you recall, so Nintendo bought God, what was the name of that studio? We'll take a look at this, but they've looks like they've officially launched the website for their for Nintendo Pictures. They bought a studio that they'd worked alongside closely in the past. Yeah, Dynamo. So they bought Dynamo Pictures back in July, and they basically have their own studio now to develop whatever it may be. As far as pictures, movies, series, what have you. So it appears they now have the official website up for Nintendo Pictures, and we knew that they were going to be renaming the company and everything. So we'll take a quick peek at that too. Ubisoft confirms price increase for AAA video games. What? The Callisto Protocol adds the Boys starter cast. That's cool. Take a look at that. What's this? I don't think that's worth diving into, really. The game that fights dementia. Huh. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Neat. Yeah, we read about the Disco Elysium stuff yesterday. That's kind of wild. Some of the core members of that development studio apparently were involuntarily kind of ousted back in 2021. And I'm worried about what that could potentially mean. And it seemed kind of vague as to what exactly, the reasoning was behind all of this, the releases, if you will, of those individuals. and I'm kind of wondering what this means for the series moving forward. So we'll find out, I'm sure. But we read about that yesterday. If you want to take a look at yesterday's news segment on YouTube. We've already kind of read about it. I just wanted to see what they said real quick. I mean, we read that the remaster of the Marvel Spider-Man game was good. It's a port to PC from PlayStation, right? I think the thing that really throws me off again is like, I mean, we're talking about a 4-year-old game. They call it a remaster because obviously, I mean, it was a 4-year-old game and it got optimized for PC because it was being ported for PC, so it's easy to call it a remaster, right? They needed to do work on it to optimize it for PC anyway, so they went ahead and did some extra. They gave it a bit of a facelift. But then you talk about a 4-year-old game that is now, is back to costing full price, and I find that just a really, really weird gimmick that a lot of these studios are resorting to nowadays. And obviously it's working, or else they wouldn't be doing it. There are people that are willing to pay that money. I'm not necessarily one of them. I mean, I would have to be really, really hyped about a title. I played God of War when the day it released on PC, but that game didn't cost full price. It was around, I think, 3 to 4 years old. It released in 2018, I think, and we played it last year. So probably about somewhere between 3 and 4 years old before the port. It got ported to PC, and the PC port was amazing. It felt so good. But I think, what did it cost? I think roughly $40, something like that, and it was amazing, But I don't necessarily see myself running out and spending full price on a game just because it got ported to another platform. Considering it's already been out for years and years and years, I find that kind of wild. It's kind of, I think the more interesting thing to me is that apparently there's so many people willing to pay that money. That's kind of nuts. Overwatch 2 Founders Pack Guide, how to get it. Overwatch 2 releases tomorrow. So we'll take a look at that. Okay. I think that's going to be it for the news today. Not quite as many articles as we normally come across, but it happens, man. So it's all right. We're going to dive in here and take a look at what we got. Overwatch 2 Founders Pack Guide, how to get it, inclusions, and more. Hold on real quick. Take care of that. Cool. The new Overwatch 2 Founders Pack and in-game package will offer some exciting goodies to loyal fans. This is a part of Blizzard Entertainment's effort to expand the gameplay of its original shooting title. As of writing, gamers are still waiting for the arrival of the new Overwatch 2. This successor of the original Overwatch will be released on various gaming platforms, including Switch, Xbox Series X, S, PlayStation 4 and 5, as well as Windows PC. Now, the Overwatch 2 Founders Pack will allow players to unlock epic skins and new heroes so that they can further enjoy the upcoming shooting video game. How to get it. Not all Overwatch gamers will qualify to get the Founders Pack. As a thank you to our original players, the Overwatch 2 Founders Pack will be free in-game to all existing players who own Overwatch. One of the main qualifications for this in-game package is the time players owned the original Overwatch. Specifically, they must have it before June 23rd, I'm guessing of this year. Those who could not purchase the game before the given date will not qualify for the Overwatch 2 Founders Pack, which includes exclusive Founders Icon, 2 epic skins, the General Doomfist, and Gesture Sombra, and more. Yeah, to all players who owned Overwatch 1 before June 23rd of 2022, they will get this content, okay? Okay, if you are among the qualified players, you can redeem the in-game package by logging into Overwatch before December 25th at 12 o'clock p.m. PDT. The inclusions, which I already kind of talked about. Some enthusiasts familiar with the game publisher's work said that the in-game package would offer 3 new heroes to those who qualify. Even though this has yet to be confirmed by Blizzard, these would be Kiriko, Sojourn, and Junker Queen. Gamers can easily access them if they redeem the Founders Pack. Aside from these 3 characters, you will also have the following surprise gift, 2 epic skins, and the exclusive Founders Icon. Yeah, we talked about this recently. In other stories, Overwatch 2 accounts are expected to require phone numbers so that cheaters can be blocked. Yeah. And only 1 phone number can be linked to 1 account. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. To the people that have owned it since June, early June, you will get this Founders Pack for Overwatch 2. Cool. This is the game that fights dementia, mind games. Sea Hero Quest, in both its mobile and VR forms, tasks you with sailing a small boat, memorizing maps, and navigating colorful seascapes. But under the surface, it hopes to provide the data that could help humanity fight an incurable disease that affects hundreds of millions of people. We spoke to Hugo Spires, professor of cognitive neuroscience, and developer Max Scott Slade of indie developer Glitchers, to find out how Sea Hero Quest revolutionized dementia research around the world and the breakthroughs that the game has led to since release. To play a selection of levels from Sea Hero Quest, you can email seaheroquest@ucl.ac.uk and you'll be provided with an access code for the mobile app. Let's take a look at this real quick.
Sea Hero Quest. In both its mobile and VR forms, Sea Hero Quest tasks you with memorizing maps, navigating a boat around colourful seascapes, and firing a flare gun to mark where you started. But under the surface, Sea Hero Quest has a much more important goal. It hopes to provide the data that could help humanity fight an incurable disease that affects hundreds of millions of people. In Sea Hero Quest, you sail a small boat around ocean mazes, collecting missing pages from your father's journal. He's losing his memory, and by retracing his old adventures, you hope to help him remember. As the player begins each level, they are shown a map, sometimes with sections that are faded or completely missing, and tasked with navigating to a point or series of points from memory. Once the player begins the level, they cannot check the map again without restarting. At the end of each level, the player either retrieves a missing page, often seeing a giant friendly sea creature in the process, or is tasked with firing a flare gun back to where they began, with stars dished out for how quickly you complete the task. Some levels have you navigating through fog or throw up surprises to throw you off course, and later levels become pretty difficult to remember. This nightmare roundabout, for example, took me several attempts to complete. Now this might sound like any other mobile game, but there's actually a lot more going on here, and to understand that, we need to meet the people who designed the game. Not just developers, but scientists too. This is Hugo Spears. He's a professor of cognitive neuroscience at
We won't
University
watch this
College
whole thing
London,
right now,
and
but
his
this is pretty
research
interesting.
focuses on the ways in which people navigate environments and how that changes when people suffer dementia or Alzheimer's disease.
One of the earliest symptoms you might see in Alzheimer's dementia is people becoming disoriented. Certainly going somewhere new, they'll get confused more than they used to. And it seems that now
He's got some
predates
amazing
in their lifespan
eyebrows.
The memory
Look
problems
at those
typically
things.
associated, like forgetting
Man.
everything. If we can understand people's spatial behavior, how they navigate better, you can start to build tools that might detect the subtlest changes that might occur for someone in Alzheimer's disease.
One of the
Amazing
big problems
eyebrow.
with researching these changes is that it's incredibly difficult to test how people navigate big environments in a lab setting, and it's incredibly time-consuming testing people one by one. But back in 2016, a phone call from Michael Hornberger, a professor of dementia research at the University of East Anglia, sparked an idea.
Could we build a video game that could be
I'm
provide
serious,
the
he's got some
mass
big, nice, thick
population of
eyebrows,
people,
dude.
monitor the data coming out of the video game, and build this monitoring tool to capture the earliest signs of being disoriented in Alzheimer's.
And so Michael and Hugo were introduced to Max Scott Slade, the founder of an indie developer named Glitchers.
Glitchers was formed to effectively build games that had some kind of creative or technological leap. Every single project we wanted to work on had to do something that pushed the boundaries of games in some way. I really wanted to learn as much about the experiments they were already doing, not only what the experiments were, but how the data was valuable for their research. So then we could try and manipulate the design of the game to facilitate all of those questions.
With Glitchers and in association with the charity Alzheimer's Research UK, Michael and Hugo assembled a team of other neuroscientists and secured funding for the project from Deutsche Telekom, alongside marketing and communications company Saatchi & Saatchi. Not exactly your typical games industry collaboration. It quickly became clear that this would...
That's really cool. I'm not gonna watch the rest of this right now because we're talking like 6 more minutes of content here. I'll put it in the chat so you guys can take a look. But that's pretty incredible, and we see this kind of stuff a lot right now in the gaming industry. Whether it be the development of peripherals, controllers, those kinds of things to increase the accessibility options for people with disabilities physically, or you see the creation of software where collaboration is happening between these kinds of developers and researchers in an attempt, because there's been a lot of research over the years about the certain types of video games and the positive cognitive effects that they have on the human brain. And these types of research are continuing to advance and show us new things and ways in which video game development and video game play can help certain kinds of impairments or diseases such as dementia or Alzheimer's, right? And so it's always really refreshing to see these types of collaborations happen and these types of software, these gaming software come about in a way that is both fun to play, but it also has a direct aim at trying to help people, right? It's really, really incredible to see. And it's there in chat if you want to take a look at the rest of that. And it's very, very neat. It's very neat. Glitchers, huh? Glitchers. Let's take a look at Glitchers. Let's try to find their site real quick. Yeah, so this is the developer behind that game, and just see there's a Sea Hero Quest, yeah. Okay, we've got a lot of different things they've developed and or are working on, which is really neat. Love our indie devs, and just from the real, quick tidbit that I saw in the video there, this developer seems, very dedicated at trying to be involved with the evolution of video games and what it can provide to us just as people, you know? Yeah, cool gamer. Yeah. So if you're interested in taking a further look at that dev as well, it's right there in chat. That is Glitchers. Cool, man. Cool. We'll keep them in mind. Moving on, the Callisto Protocol. If you're not familiar with the Callisto Protocol, it is the game coming out that is very, very Dead Space, right? It is being created by the same lead director, lead creator of the Dead Space games. I can't think of his name right now, but this is an entirely new. This has nothing to do with Dead Space, but if you see the game, you can tell it definitely gives off Dead Space vibes, and I'm pretty hyped. It looks like it's going to be good. I hope it is. The upcoming survival horror game, The Callisto Protocol, is set to feature one of the primary actresses seen in Amazon's smash hit TV series, The Boys. As it currently stands, The Callisto Protocol already has some big-name actors attached to the project, as Josh Duhamel is set to star as the main protagonist of the game, Jacob Lee. And while Duhamel's addition to the title might have made it that much more notable, it seems that developer Striking Distance Studios is looking to pad out the cast with even more recognizable faces. As seen in the latest trailer for the Callisto Protocol, it was confirmed that actress Karen Fukuhara will be appearing in the game. Fukuhara, who is most well known for her role as Kimiko in The Boys and Katana in Suicide Squad, will portray the character Dani Nakamura within the Callisto Protocol. In recent years, Fukuhara has been appearing in a variety of different TV shows, movies, and animated projects, but the Callisto Protocol will mark her first foray into the world of video games. Again, take a look. If you're familiar with Dead Space, which we're getting into day 2 of Dead Space 1 today, you'll see the resemblance. So he's got like this exoskeleton kind of suit on, right? You can see the on the back of his neck, it's got the
like someone's trying to
like life bar and everything. And the way he walks around and stuff.
Abandoned, along with the rest of Callisto.
They didn't have a clue what was going on.
Emzel, what's up, my friend?
Things are
How are you?
changing. They're evolving.
These aren't accidents. There's a pattern.
I'm great. Yeah, I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Escape, Jacob. Not anymore. What's it about? Answers.
Do you wish?
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. You know what I think? I think if anybody should play this game, it's you. Yeah, so that's the Callisto Protocol. And if you're familiar with, you know, the Boys, right, or Suicide Squad, then I'm sure that the other actor there in that trailer looks familiar, which is what this is talking about, which is Karen Fukuhara, right? So she is actually starring in this game as well. So although Fukuhara is shown off in the new video for the Callisto Protocol, it's not known just how much she'll be appearing in the title. Based on what we've seen so far, it looks like her character will be an ally of Jacob Lee, but her own motives and goals are still unknown. Given that she's now the most prominent person outside of Duhamel to be featured in the Callisto Protocol, though, it seems likely she'll play a large part in the game's story. for now, one thing that we know with certainty is that the Callisto Protocol will release later this year on December 2nd. When it does launch, it will come to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC platforms. Yeah. Forget it, you'll see me cry. Yeah, we're playing Dead Space right now, which is, again, like I was just talking about, the Callisto Protocol is being created by the same director, lead designer, and everything, developer of the Dead Space games. It's very, very Dead Space-esque. You can see a lot of the resemblance from the Dead Space games in the Callisto Protocol, and that's what we're playing right now is Dead Space. It's very eerie, man. It's very eerie. They did a great job with the noise, the sounds in the game, and everything. It's very creepy. Yeah. The ambience of the entire thing is just very, very spooky. Steam Deck's most popular game hasn't even fully released yet. The most popular game that is playable on Valve's Steam Deck platform is a title that hasn't even been fully released just yet. Since first arriving earlier this year, a number of PC fans have slowly been gravitating towards playing games from their Steam library on Steam Deck. While the hardware is likely still pretty niche overall, the title that most owners are playing is one that you might not initially expect. Recently, Steam Deck manufacturer Valve unveiled the most played games on the hardware for the month of September 2022. As expected, titles like Elden Ring, Cyberpunk, and Stardew Valley all ranked quite high on the list. However, it was the early access. I knew it was going to be Vampire Survivors. They ended up being the most popular game on the Steam Deck throughout the month. When accounting for total hours played, Vampire Survivors had a larger audience on Steam Deck in September than any other game. It's a perfect title for this type of platform. It really is. In a general sense, this isn't too shocking since Vampire Survivors has been a big hit on Steam for a prolonged period of time since it was first released in late 2021. What makes this news encouraging for developer Ponkel, though, is that Vampire Survivors is finally gearing up to exit early access in just a few short weeks. On October 20th, the version 1.0 update for Vampire Survivors will roll out, which will likely lead to an even larger influx of players. Whether or not that new audience might look to also play the game on Steam Deck remains to be seen, but this data from Valve seems to prove that the hardware has been greatly beneficial to overall its success. To its overall success, I think would be better. Whether or not Vampire Survivors can remain at the top of the Steam Deck charts for the long haul is something that we'll have to wait and see. But by all accounts, October should be another big month for the indie title. Yeah. That's a great title for this piece of hardware, this platform. Yeah. Oh, really, gamer? Right on. Yeah. Only the plasma cutter. Yeah. I actually thought about from the get-go just trying to use the plasma cutter as the main, just souping it up from the get-go. I think getting good at placing the mines is going to be a really, really huge thing with the line gun, or the whatever it's called. The mines are pretty nuts. They do a lot of damage if you can place them right and get multiple enemies hit with them. Spend 300,000 in the store, zowie, dude. That's crazy. Nier Automata, the end of Yora edition, release date, gameplay trailer, and story. Yeah, we knew this was coming to Switch, right? When Nier Automata first came out back in 2017. Okay, so here's what's going to be interesting, right? So we've seen here recently, like the Switch just got an 11-year-old game in what is Skyrim Anniversary Edition, and it cost $70. An 11-year-old game came out on the Switch and cost $70. So why would this be any different, right? I mean, this is 5 years, 5-year-old game, almost 6-year-old game, and I'm expecting this to be the same thing. When Nier Automata first came out back in 2017, it received a lot of praise for its gameplay and story. Now players can experience this masterpiece on the Switch. Keep reading to learn more. So, Nier Automata, the end of Yora edition's release date is on October 6th. So 3 days from now. Can also be played on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. However, they are not the version of the game talked about in this article. So if you're not familiar with what Nier Automata is, we'll watch the trailer real quick, okay?
You shall become as gods.
I've never seen machines with such unique perspectives. We shall become gods.
Don't you see? You can become gods now.
So the gameplay of Nier Automata for the Switch is the same as its other versions. It's a story-driven action role-playing game with open-world elements. Players must explore a post-apocalyptic landscape, fighting off dangers, I think is what that's supposed to say, and helping those in need. Exploration is an integral part of the game, as players will have to find their way through the land. Player can sprint, dash, jump, double jump, and even air dash their way through the landscape. Exploration sometimes yields the player items, alternate routes, or even more story elements. While traveling, the player will encounter enemies that they will have to defeat. To do so, players have access to a variety of weapon types, ranging from small and fast swords to large and slow great swords. Each of these weapons has its own strengths and weaknesses, so players will have to experiment to see which weapons fit their playstyle more. Other than swinging their weapons and fighting in the traditional action RPG way, some fights have bullet hell elements. That is, players will be dodging a lot and I do mean a lot of projectiles. This forces players to play it slow and take their time with fights instead of rushing it. There's also an upgrade system present in Nier, so players can mix and match stats to make their playthroughs easier. What's funny is that this upgrade system includes the player's user interface and heads-up display. This means that if players want, they can remove maps, quest markers, and even their HP bars on the screen to equip an additional stat boost or skill. That's wild. So, like with the other versions, Nier Automata's Switch port has the same story. Set in the year 11,945 AD, the player takes control of 2B, a combat android known for her calmness, composure, and combat prowess. 2B must explore the destroyed land and help out those in need, as well as accomplish her own missions. Nier Automata has a whopping 26 endings, one for each letter of the alphabet. While some of these endings are joke endings, the others are important and open up the game for replayability. Looks like you get some in-game cosmetic items and stuff there for the Yora edition on Switch. Again, I mean, it doesn't say how much this is going to cost, but I'm going to say it's probably going to be 60 or 70 bucks, you know, for a game that's 5 years old, just because it's getting ported over to a new console. That's just so wild to me. And I could be wrong, but I'm willing to bet. So, but for those Switch players that have been dying to play some Nier, man, it's coming. Nintendo Pictures launches official website. Yeah, we read about this earlier in the year. Nintendo has officially launched the website for a new subsidiary company, Nintendo Pictures. It marks the veteran Japanese game makers' growing interest in development of multimedia and expanding beyond just video games. Back in July, this is what we read about, right? Back in July, Nintendo released documents that showed the finer details of an acquisition it had made. It bought a CG company called Dynamo Pictures to be renamed to Nintendo Pictures. And that deal would be finalized by October 3rd, today. Lo and behold, today is that date, and the website for the new company is live and kicking. Reliable Games newsbreaker Stealth 40K reports that Nintendo Pictures already employs more than 100 people, but will open to further recruitment in November. The new subsidiary is a video production company that aims to, quote, let customers around the world know about Nintendo's characters and create images that will remain in their memories forever and are unique in nature. According to the Japanese text on the website, more prosaically, the company's business activities involves making videos featuring Nintendo IP and providing, motion capture recording services. Meanwhile, the host of many a Nintendo Direct Switch hardware lead and generally a major figure at Nintendo Corp, Yoshiaki Kazumi, is listed as director of Nintendo Pictures. Previously, the company, formerly known as Dynamo Pictures, has worked on CG for the likes of Final Fantasy XIII 2 and Metroid Other M, created a series of Pikmin shorts for the Wii U and 3DS, and provided motion capture work for Death Stranding and Persona 5. It's also known for having worked on Yuri on Ice and Ghost in the Shell. Meanwhile, gaming and filming fans are waiting for the imminent arrival of the first real look at the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Movie. A teaser trailer for the Chris Pratt starring feature film is due to release this Thursday. We actually saw it yesterday. It's pretty wild. Somebody has just created an entire, I don't think it's playable. They used the Unreal Engine to create this. I should probably just link it for you guys in chat again. We watched this yesterday, which is the original Mario Brothers, like some of the original Mario Brothers levels that have been recreated in Unreal Engine 5, and Mario is actually portrayed as like Chris Pratt. You can see him right there. And it is actually wild. It looks really, really good. It's really, really good. The thing that's crazy about it is it's not just 2D. It's like this whole like 2D, 3D world where you can look at it just 2D, but then you can like go in and you can actually see where Chris Pratt or Mario can like move around the level more in a 3D kind of space. You know, it's kind of wild, but it looks really, really good. Check out yesterday's news segment if you're interested. It's pretty wild. But yeah, Nintendo Pictures up and running, man. Epic Games releases demo of Solana game Star Atlas. The space-themed strategy game Star Atlas has proven to be a popular upcoming title for many gamers. As the anticipation for this game has been running rampant amongst content creators, gamers have finally gotten access to the demo for this game. Okay, Epic Games are ones giving you access to this demo, which has been built upon the rising Solana blockchain. The release comes in quick succession after the highly popular Blankos block party was also made available to gamers via the Epic Games Store in September of this year. All right, so this is a crypto-based game. Yeah. It's going to be like blockchain, NFT, all the... yeah. Look, I'm really not about promoting this kind of stuff in the gaming industry. And I think it's taking the industry in a direction that is not, as far as I'm concerned, healthy for the industry because it's not being incorporated in a way that's mutually beneficial for both the developer and the player base. Because I brought the article up, I'll throw it in chat there if you want to take a look at it, but I'm not going to read into that. Horizon Zero Dawn remake in the works. It looks like remakes of famous PlayStation games aren't slowing down after The Last of Us received its remake treatment just recently. It's time for another one. Keep reading to learn more about the Horizon Zero Dawn remake, what to expect from it, as well as a possible multiplayer game. According to MPU First, their sources revealed that a Horizon Zero Dawn remake was on the way. This was later corroborated by other sources as true. It is unknown whether the game will be remade from the ground up or just updated. However, they did say that the game would have improved lighting, overhauled textures, and better animations. They also said that there will be new character models made to match those in Horizon Forbidden West, the game's sequel. Other than graphics, they also mentioned the game will include accessibility options as well as quality of life improvements. The accessibility options include different graphic modes for the PS5. The graphic modes hinted at are performance, quality, and uncapped performance modes. Aims to take advantage of the PS5's variable refresh rate. Remake will supposedly bring Horizon Zero Dawn closer to Forbidden West. All of the upgrades and updates are meant to put this game on the same level as its sequel. Other than this remake, the sources also revealed that a multiplayer game set in the Horizon's universe is also under development. This game is for the PS5 and PC and may feature some form of cooperative play. Other than this, there's no other information. Understandably, some people are not so keen on the idea. Some are hoping for other older games to be remade rather than a game that came out. That's what I was just thinking, man. Like, how old is this? The original Horizon, what, 2018, 2019? '17. 2017 is getting a remake or a remaster already. Like, God, dude. This just goes along with what we keep like reading about in regards to the industry, and a lot of these companies just I don't know, man. It's like they're so scared to come out with new content that they just they fall back on these titles that are only like 4 to 5 years old. That ultimately they really don't need a remake or a remaster at this point, you know. And it feels weird to see so many of them doing it. They're just trying to just bring as much money out as they can out of. So they're like, hey, it's been 5 years, you know. It's been 4 years, baby. We gotta go ahead and remake remaster this game, you know. It's really wild, especially when you know, just like this article was talking about. You see so many of these there's so many old IPs that people love so much that they've been waiting for so long for you know, these series to get revived, and instead it's just there's no love there, you know, at all. It's just these developers, these big AAA developers, are so scared to dive into anything new. We talk about it all the time, and it just continues to happen. We continue to see it every single day. As soon as I started reading that article, it was the same thing that I thought. Or this article, it was exactly what I started thinking, and it's exactly what they pointed out. You know, I don't know. Feels weird, man. Last article I have for the day, and then we will be moving on to Dead Space Day 2. Impossible difficulty. We'll get it. It won't be impossible. We'll get it. It is difficult though. It really is. It feels good. It feels good. I like it. So if you have anything to add, let me know in chat, and we'll discuss it, address it before we move on to gameplay today. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing that is really kind of driving people up the walls a bit, you know, gamer. Whether you're talking about what it was, The Last of Us, that's doing the same thing, you know. Yeah, I knew what you meant, dude. Yeah, I knew what you meant, man. You know, The Last of Us getting remade as well, and everybody was like, it doesn't really look that much better, you know. It's like, obviously technology advances, and you know, you could take a game that came out 2 years ago and you could make it look a little bit better, you know, but it doesn't make any sense. Like, you're not going to get a ton of enhancement out of a game that's between 4 to 5 years old, as apart from taking something that's like, you know, a decade to 12 years old, that really needs a you know, resurgence or revamp, and that's where I think a lot of the gaming, you know, community and us as fans of a lot of these series that have kind of died off are going, what are you guys doing? You know, I don't know. It makes these developers look really scared, and it makes them look incompetent. Honestly, that's the way it makes them come off to me. A lot of these AAA developers are starting to come off looking like they can't do anything anymore besides just continue to create the same IPs anymore. They can't create anything new. They are just stuck in this mode where they can only continue to work off of the more recent stuff that they've kind of already got in their portfolio, that they can just take and re-render and improve a little bit and keep trying to soak as much money out of it as they can. It's really, really weird. I don't know. Did You Know Gaming takes a look at canceled Zelda game Heroes of Hyrule. You may recall back in September, had revealed that 15 years ago, Retro Studios had pitched a spin-off Zelda game to Nintendo that was called Heroes of Hyrule. Unfortunately, the game was ultimately canceled. I don't know, man. Maybe. I mean, I think it might even come off different for huge fans of the series that are going to go, oh, cool, just because they're fans of the series. I don't know. I think even for me, it wouldn't really matter if I'm a fan of a series or not. Just because of the way that I see the gaming industry. If I was a huge fan of Horizon Zero Dawn, even if I was, just being who I am and the way that I approach the gaming industry, the way I see that it's being kind of this trend, I would still go kind of like what you're saying. I would just say, like, why? It's not. It doesn't need it yet. It looks fine. It looks great. There's no point in spending the time and resources and money to do some kind of remaster or of the game right now. It's not old enough. It doesn't need it yet. That just seems weird to me. I think I would still feel that way even if I was a huge fan of that series. So I hear you, man. Did You Know Gaming is back with a video that talks more about what this game was all about. According to the video's description, the game was planned to be a strategy game in a similar vein to Final Fantasy Tactics, set in the Legend of Zelda universe. Oh, wild. Dude, this is a 20-minute video.
Did you know one of Nintendo's most prestigious studios, Retro Studios, wanted to make a Final Fantasy Tactics-style Zelda game for the Nintendo DS called Heroes of Hyrule? Retro pitched it to Nintendo in 2004, around the same time they were finishing up Metroid Prime 2, but Nintendo passed on the project, so the game got scrapped early on. Did You Know Gaming managed to get a hold of the full 22-page document from former Retro employees while researching the last Zelda video about their scrapped spin-off starring Sheik. Today, we're going to look at Heroes of Hyrule in its entirety. The gameplay, artwork, a story that sounds a little like Breath of the Wild, and some Retro Studios behind the scenes. Let's start at the beginning. Link is not the main character in Heroes of Hyrule, although he does make a surprise appearance as an NPC. After the cover and some artwork, the third page introduces the game's story. It says, 100 years ago, three heroes defeated an ancient evil and sealed it away in a magical book. For many ages, the people lived in peace and freedom,
this music
free of the scourge
will
that
always make
tormented
me
them for
mentally
so long,
picture gold
until
cartridge,
one day,
NES,
when the book came into the hands
Legend of
of
Zelda,
a young
dude.
boy. A few pages later, there's a more detailed plot outline. Think of it like the prologue at the beginning of most Zelda games, describing events in the past. There's 16 pieces of art in the pitch, but we're going to add some of our own art to help visualize parts of the story that are only told through text. We'll make a note on screen so you know which ones were commissioned by Did You Know Gaming and which ones were made by Retro. 100 years ago, Ganon captured Princess Zelda, and Link ventured off to save her. But after an ambush, Link fell into the hands of Ganon's minions. Three of Link's friends, who are the titular heroes in Heroes of Hyrule, went on an adventure to rescue him. The three heroes were Dunar the Goron, Seraph the Rito, and Krell the Zora. Dunar's a gruff, tough fighter who embodies the Triforce of Power. He's the strong, silent type, but with few words he reveals a surprisingly keen intellect. Seraph embodies the Triforce of Courage, and she's patient, helpful and warm-hearted, while also remarkably brave and fiercely loyal to her friends. She was the first to discover Link got kidnapped, and she was the one who got the heroes together to rescue him. And Krell embodies the Triforce of Wisdom. He's the brains of the party, sort of an arrogant and cynical wisecracker, but that's just an outer shell he uses to hide his soft insides. After many adventures, the heroes defeated Ganon and rescued Link. Then Ganon retreated into a magical spellbook called the Book of Ganon, which he'd previously created as a tool to enhance his evil power. After his defeat, Ganon's spirit got stuck inside the book in a weakened state, similar to how he was trapped in the spirit realm at the end of Ocarina of Time. The heroes tried to burn the book, but it wouldn't catch fire, so they ripped out a bunch of pages and scattered them all over Hyrule to make sure Ganon could never escape. Link took what was left of the book and hid it away for safekeeping. Then 100 years passed. And that brings us to the present, where the game actually begins. The player takes control of a boy named Corey, who gets to know an old man who owns an antiques shop. One day, the old man has to leave town in a hurry, so he asks Corey to watch the shop while he's away. Eventually, Corey discovers a secret room in the shop where the Book of Ganon is hidden. He starts reading the book, which tells the events of 100 years ago, the past, and that's where the tactical RPG elements come into play. Heroes of Hyrule is actually divided into two worlds. 2/3 of the game takes place in the past as tactics, and 1/3 takes place in the present. In the present, you play as Corey with real-time exploration and role-playing. Sort of a traditional Zelda experience, but without dungeons or combat. It's more about exploring the town and interacting with the people who live there. This design was written up in 2004, 3 years before Phantom Hourglass. It never mentions touch controls, so we assume Heroes of Hyrule would have used more traditional controls like the most recent handheld Zelda at the time, Minish Cap. According to the doc, Corey does tasks and favors for the town's residents, like delivering items, searching for hidden objects, digging for treasure, and trading sequences. There's also events and mini-games around town, like a fishing contest, a flying contest, a scavenger hunt, and a music contest at the music hall. Corey does all these things to earn or discover lost pages of the Book of Ganon, which he doesn't realize is evil. He just wants to read more of the book's legends. After Corey gets a new page, he returns to the book, inserts the missing page, and it unlocks a new adventure in the past. According to the doc, when Corey discovers the book in the old man's antiquities shop, he literally brings the hero's adventures to life by reading the book, and he begins to relive their quests one by one. Now the game switches over to the three heroes 100 years ago, and plays less like Zelda and more like Final Fantasy Tactics, but more puzzle focused. Dunar's the beefy tank who can lift heavy objects. He's got a hammer for melee attacks, a Deku medallion for summoning a fire spirit, a fire charm that makes all fire sources on the map explode, and a fire shield that makes him invulnerable to fire. Seraph's the fast archer who can fly and change the wind's direction. Her primary weapon's a boomerang that can hit multiple enemies or switches from a distance. She has an invisibility mask for sneaking past enemies, and fire and ice arrows for freezing and burning enemies and objects. And Krell's the long-distance spellcaster who can swim. He can use healing magic, protective magic, boost the party's stats, create tsunamis from anywhere there's water on a map, freeze or thaw bodies of water, and he's got the lens of truth for seeing invisible enemies and hidden doors. The heroes don't start with all of these items and abilities though, they acquire them one by one over the course of the game. They can also obtain more common items that any of them can use, like bombs, Deku
Final Fantasy
seeds,
Tactics
and fairy
was
jars.
so
The heroes
good,
are
dude.
occasionally joined by cameo characters from past Zelda games. The document doesn't name them, but we're going to assume there'd be personalities fans would like, such as Impa, Tingle, or Skull Kid. Some of the heroes' items also allow them to summon new creatures, such as elementals of fire, water, earth, and air. Unlike other strategy RPGs, Heroes of Hyrule doesn't have experience points or a leveling up system. Instead, there's a heavier emphasis on item collection, like a normal Zelda. Quoting page 12, it's turn-based strategy and puzzle solving. The player controls the heroes and their occasional allies in a series of discrete encounters. Although most of these encounters will involve combat, much of the gameplay in the hero's world is oriented towards solving environmental puzzles in traditional Zelda fashion. Most of the items the heroes can employ have functions in environmental puzzle solving as well as combat. Each adventure isn't just a battle though. You don't play through one page, then you're done and move on to the next one. Each page is more like an area of Hyrule you can return to later. Page 13 says, each area is divided into several distinct sections, or phases, which are separated by environmental puzzles and obstacles. Much like in a Metroid game, these obstacles act as gates to limit the party's progress until they earn the items they need to overcome the obstacles and proceed to the next.
That's kind of wild. That's about half of that video. I'll link it in there for you guys. Again, this is Did You Know Gaming. This is Did You Know Gaming site. This is going to be Did You Know Gaming's YouTube channel, I'm sure. And that is a pretty cool little watch. So I wonder, I'm guessing at the end of this, they'll probably talk about why it potentially got scrapped. I think one of the reasons might be because probably higher ups thought that a Legend of Zelda game that didn't have a dedicated playstyle including Link wouldn't be received very well by the community and fans of the Legend of Zelda series and everything could be part of it, but it sounds like it could have been pretty cool. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna link it so you guys can watch the rest of it. But that's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting stuff. There are so many games out there that have gotten scrapped over the years, and especially about over the past decade, it's gotten much easier for us to find out about those kinds of titles, right? But before that, the information flow just wasn't really as available for us to find out quite as much about those titles that were potentially in development or that got scrapped, and we might have these unique titles that could have potentially become a game for us to play. So it's always wild to hear about this kind of stuff. That's what I got for today, guys. That's the news. We're going to move on to some Dead Space Day 2. It'll be a good time. We're going to keep pushing, keep getting our anxiety built up, getting some scares in, and trying to slay these aliens. So we'll keep pushing today. I appreciate everybody that was here for this new segment, and obviously everybody that's always a part of what we do here in this channel, in this community. You guys rock. If you're enjoying this content and you can find the time to come hang out with us, we start these new segments off at 6 o'clock a.m. CST every single day before we get into whatever gaming content we have planned. So see what you can do about coming and hanging out with myself and the rest of this amazing community when we go live at that time every single day, okay? Other than that, you guys just stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another, and I will catch everybody tomorrow for October 4th edition of Video Gaming News, all right?